The Euphrates River has been a lifeline for ancient and current Middle Eastern civilizations for thousands of years. However, climate change and human activity, among other things, have contributed to the river's steady drying up in recent years. The future of the region is now uncertain because of this. As the river continues to drain, however, something unexpected has surfaced on the dry riverbank. Emerging from the depths of the Euphrates River are mysteries and secrets that have lain dormant for centuries. Stay with us to find out what really went on. Subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for future updates. Let's start. This vast section of the river has been the primary source of water in the region for more than 10,000 years. However, this ancient river is currently drying up as a result of frightening events that have plunged millions of people into a period of unprecedented drought. It should not come as a shock that the Euphrates River has completely dried up, because this terrifying event was foretold in a prophecy that appears to be coming true, as strange and ancient discoveries continue to be made underneath the river where it once flowed. The Euphrates River has at long last run dry, and a horrifying development is taking place as a result. The Tigris and the Euphrates rivers come together to form what is known as the Fertile Crescent. The Euphrates is the longest river in Asia. The river has completely dried up in almost all of the locations along the lower portion of its course. The few pools of water that are still around have been polluted to the point where they are unfit for human consumption, which has led to the almost complete collapse of the fishing industries in these areas. The river begins its journey in Turkey, where it passes through several deep canyons and gorges on its way to the lowlands of Syria. After that, it travels straight through Iraq and into the Persian Gulf. On the other hand, this once mighty river is gradually losing its flow as the water table lowers all along its path. Both Syria and Iraq make use of the river's numerous resources, such as its water for agricultural purposes and its hydroelectric power stations. Due to the fact that the river originates in the Armenian mountains in East Turkey, Turkey is in a position to exert the most control over its flow. The treaties that have been in place between these three countries since World War I, when the borders were defined, the treaty stated that the three Euphrates states would use the river's water in a way that would be beneficial for all three countries, and this included any future dams. In 1946, Turkey and Iraq came to an agreement. Syria and Turkey were the first countries in the region to build hydroelectric dams on the Euphrates in 1975 in order to fill reservoirs. These dams were constructed on the river. They did both of these things almost simultaneously, which is when the entire Fertile Crescent was hit by a terrible drought. This was the time when it happened. The combination of this factor and the recently built dams led to a significant reduction in the flow of the rivers, which ultimately resulted in a disaster. In 1973, there was average water flow of more than 15 cubic kilometers, but by 1975, it had only about 9 cubic kilometers. In 1975, the flow of water was significantly lower. This led to a major problem in Iraq, and as a result, the government of that nation made threats to bomb the Tapka Dam in Turkey. However, this was only the first in a string of problems that involved the flow of the Euphrates, and they all culminated in a wreck in the end. Over 500,000 hectares of agricultural land in Syria are reliant on the Tapka Dam, which is the country's largest reservoir. The dam is located on Lake Assad, and it supplies irrigation and drinking water to the surrounding area. Iraq has suffered as a result of Syria and Turkey's construction of smaller dams on tributaries and streams that flow into the Euphrates River. The GAP project was started by Turkey so that it could make the most of the opportunities presented by the Euphrates River in terms of irrigation and the generation of hydroelectricity in the southeastern districts of the country. The project covers an area that is the equivalent of 80,000 square kilometers and will have an effect on more than 1 billion people worldwide. Additionally, it provides water for irrigation to approximately 1 million hectares of agricultural land in the Euphrates Basin, which represents more than 20% of irrigable land in Turkey. The World Bank did not provide any financial assistance to Turkey until the country made a formal request for it. An agreement was reached between Iraq and Syria regarding the allocation of water from the Euphrates. However, this did not prevent Turkey and Syria from constructing a large number of dams, which had a negative impact on Iraq. The flow of water coming from the Euphrates River has been steadily decreasing over the past 20 years, leaving areas that rely on the river for irrigation and drinking water, without sufficient water to meet their needs. Due to climate change and an increase in the temperature of the Earth's surface, there has been an increase in the amount of surface water that has evaporated, which has led to drought conditions in some areas. A recent study that examined the amount of water that evaporates from reservoirs in the region each year found that Turkey loses approximately 2 cubic kilometers of water due to evaporation each year, while Syria loses approximately 1 cubic kilometer of water due to evaporation. Although the current droughts along the Euphrates River may be caused by the construction and closure of dams across the river, there are other hypotheses regarding the river's current state that could be considered. People who have explored parts of the river that were previously inaccessible because they were underwater have reported seeing strange things. This may sound like religious ramblings, but these people have seen strange things on the river. There have been reports of strange occurrences on the Euphrates River. They have found tunnels and caverns that have bizarre shapes and are unlike any caves that mankind could have constructed. These caves are completely unimaginable. Both archaeologists and regular people have reported hearing terrifying sounds coming from below ground, and several of these caverns have the appearance of holding cells. Some people have described the sounds as groans and growls, which are enough to give them nightmares. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.